the United States is I should look at it this way too. We're running out of patience. We believe that more and more it becomes a statement by the South African government when it doesn't want to respond to simple questions that we have. We may not get clarity on the kill the Boer chant that we believe is hate speech. I'm sorry, I don't care what your courts say. It's hate speech. We believe that there is clarity on the expropriation. We believe we can find these things. But the South African government has to step up to the plate. At this point, what I'm saying to the business community, you do too. What I don't have patience for, and I'll be very blunt here. I'm known for being blunt. This is why the president asked me to do this. But I don't want to hear businesses say one thing publicly and another thing privately.
Sure, what's up, South Africa? Welcome to Common Sense. I'm Andre. Now, South African government collars are heating up. So Washington has stated that they are running out of patience with South African government. Before we get into it, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification. Let's get into it. The new appointed U.S. ambassador, Mr. Leo Brent, has stated 5 points that America is expected from South Africa. That's all, 5 points. Nothing difficult, not a 20,000 page policy change, nothing. Just 5 points, that's all we want. But it seems like President Cyril Ramaphosa continually plays his games with the American government because at the moment he's losing his BRICS friends one by one. Venezuela, now it's Iran, and who knows who's next on Trump's list. But here is the ambassador just stating out the facts of what their expectations are as it comes to South African policies as well as international relations.
Well, what you learn when you arrive here, and I've only been here 3 weeks, three and a half weeks, is the complexity of the situation. You also learn that there are those in the government who want to see the business community succeed, while there are those in the government, frankly, don't want to see it. I'll tell you where our position has been very firm. We put together 5 asks. I mentioned 3 of them, but there were a couple more. We put them forward to the South African government. We've been waiting for almost a year for a response. And as I've made clear in meetings that I've had, the United States is I should look at it this way too. We're running out of patience. We believe that more and more it becomes a statement by the South African government when it doesn't want to respond to simple questions that we have. We may not get clarity on the kill the Boer chant that we believe is hate speech. I'm sorry, I don't care what your courts say. It's hate speech. We believe that there is clarity on the expropriation. We believe we can find these things. But the South African government has to step up to the plate. At this point, what I'm saying to the business community, you do too. What I don't have patience for, and I'll be very blunt here. I'm known for being blunt. This is why the president asked me to do this. But I don't want to hear businesses say one thing publicly and another thing privately. I want businesses who tell me privately that Triple BEE is hurting them to say so publicly. I don't want them to feel fear from the government. There has to be that kind of outspokenness. Now, your organization clearly does that, or else you wouldn't be having this meeting. But I will urge you to be more outspoken. I think we are at perhaps an existential moment that none of us wanted. Nobody was looking for this situation to go in this direction. Things were going very, very well. but things have gone off course. So, the last part of it, I will say, when I spoke with the president, he had one mandate. It was so simple. He said, I want South Africa to become non-aligned once again. That's not too much to ask, non-alignment. And that's what he wants. He'll take non-alignment, not where we're going right now. That's a meandering answer. See, I'm a diplomat.
No, it's a good answer.
Yeah.
It's a good answer. Non-aligned is something that I think everybody in this room would love to see. And there's sufficient evidence to show that hasn't been the case. But when you come to the end of your term, what would you define as success? You've been here 3 weeks, so it's pretty early days, but have you given that any thought?
Well, what is success? True success is for the level playing field in business, where America is allowed to compete on an even footing against any country in the world, one-on-one. Because if there is that level playing field, without question, I believe we'll crush the competition. We have better products, better technology. We create jobs that stay in South Africa. We don't bring in our workers, create something that's a piece of crap, and then take it out. My wife used an iron yesterday that was she was ironing something. It was built in China. She put it down, and immediately it burned a hole in the ironing board. It looked like it cost 5 cents or 5 rand to build. We'll build better products. So what's success? Success in business is an even playing field. Success in business is trade deals that are fair for both sides. And that's all we ask for, is fairness on both sides. We're not asking for a thing more than that. And that's been the president's position he started it in his first term, and he's doubling and tripling down now. And finally, in the foreign policy space, I'm not going to discuss that today. I can't. The situation is too fluid in Iran right now. So it's best not to have a discussion. We can come back and have another discussion on that at the appropriate time. But that has to be resolved. The foreign policy has to be resolved. The statements, the things that have happened in the last week are not at all helpful. Insulting our president on the eve of coming to our country is not a good sign. Sending condolences letters to Iran after one of the world's greatest terrorists has been put down is not a good sign. They have to be resolved, and there are going to be some tough discussions ahead. But hopefully, South Africa will understand that it ought not to be aligning with international pariahs like Iran.
So there we go. Simple. Nothing difficult. Very simple. I am shocked that it's taken a year for President Cyril Ramaphosa and his administration to respond to President Trump. It's taken a year. These are the 5 things from long ago, 2016 as he mentioned. Why hasn't the South African government taken action? We have in this country right now 600 American companies. Over 250,000 people are employed by these companies. South Africans are employed by these companies. And yet you have the South African government playing games, having this whole thing about dialogue, choosing the side of Iran, where you have dictators, Islamic regime dictators, killing and slaughtering their own people. This is the government we have right now. They rather choose, or they rather align themselves with countries of dictators instead of with countries that know how to win. And President Cyril Ramaphosa, this is just a gracious warning. Your regime, Iran regime in Iran, they are about to fall. They are about to fall. You have nobody else to run to. China and Russia are turning their backs on Iran. And they are about to fall. But this is the response from the South African government. Check this out.
U.S. relations, the Department of International Relations and Cooperation has noted recent public remarks made by the United States ambassador to South Africa. While South Africa welcomes active public diplomacy and the strengthening of bilateral ties, we emphasize that such engagements must remain consistent with established diplomatic etiquette and international protocols. In this regard, we have called in the ambassador of the United States, Ambassador Bozell, to explain his undiplomatic remarks. And in his engagements and visits to various sites in South Africa, including the Apartheid Museum, District 6, and other historical places. In the engagements, he acknowledges that given our history, South Africa needs redress and is willing to work with us constructively in this regard.
So there we go. What I find really interesting is that the South African mainstream media is trying their utmost best. Okay. So there we go. What I find really interesting is that the mainstream media is trying their utmost best to push a lie, push propaganda. The refugees that went to America is coming back. That's all a lie. And I've said it. What I also find really interesting is that the president doesn't make it an urgency to align itself with America, because he is not thinking about the South African people. He's not. He's still upset about when Trump stopped USAID. That's what he's upset about. He's upset about the funding that was stopped because there's no more money going into their pockets. That's why he's upset. That's why he's playing these games. When we all know for a fact that the South African people should come first for this president, the South African people's job should come first and make the relationship with America right again. Make it good again. Make it great again. But he won't do that. But let's look at the 5 points that the US ambassador, Mr. Leo, actually was talking about. Let's go through it quickly. So here are the 5 points that America is actually putting on the table. And it's reasonable points. And I agree with these points. I truly believe that if the South African government gets rid of these things and better it, South Africa will prosper. South Africa will prosper. So let's go through it. First, distance South Africa from Iran. Yes, please, let us stop supporting dictators. Like really, South Africa, stop it. South African government, stop it. And I know for a fact, I saw on social media, South Africans are like, no, but Iran is our friends because of apartheid. I don't care. You cannot support dictators just because they supported your socialist and communist party like the ANC. I don't care. That's wrong. Supporting a regime that kills and tortures their own people. The mere fact that 45,000 was killed a few weeks ago just by protesting, and the South African government is sending their condolences to this government. That's sick. Sick. Another point. Amend the Expropriation Act. Yes, I agree. Stop stealing people's land, South African government. Stop taking their land. The South African government owns 8 million hectares of land, and there are people living on that land. There's no infrastructure. There's no electricity. There's no water coming to those places. And they haven't given that land to the people. But no. Let's take the land with the nice green grass. But if you have to drive from the north tip of South Africa all the way to the southern tip, you will find open land that people can actually occupy, start building new cities, and just copy the blueprint of Oranje. As simple as that. But South African government, stop stealing South Africans' land. Stop it. Zimbabwe has fallen. The Chinese don't even own their own land. South African government should not be dictating to South Africans that have bought the land through the proper processes. Should never dictate if that land should be taken, because that is action of a dictator. Reform broad-based black economic empowerment. I agree. Get rid of it completely. It's a system that has failed the South African people. This system has only enriched the 100 plus people in the South African government and of course with family members and business partners. Over R1 trillion has been circulated among these people. It has not benefited the middle class black South Africans. It has not. You cannot employ someone just because of the color of their skin. You have to employ someone if they have the experience as well as have the qualifications. As simple as that. Companies are literally suffocating because of this law. And the South African government should get rid of it completely. Rural safeties. I agree. Stop the farm murders. Stop it completely. Stop the farm murders completely. Protect our farmers. At one point in South Africa, we were the leading country when it came to produce, when it came to farming. The best in Africa and the top 5 in the world. Now we're nowhere because we're losing our farmers to America, Zambia, Botswana. We need our farmers back. And if you tell me, Andre, it's just part of the crime statistics, people get murdered every day in this country. Listen here, not one South African should be murdered in this country. Not one. But you see that we have such weak laws on criminals. This is what they do. They target. This is complete and utter hatred towards our farmers. I don't care what you say. I don't care what the South African police has to say with their stats, because who trusts the South African police? Like really, the mere fact that our farmers are targeted has to give you an indication with common sense that this is out of hatred. And of course, the last one, kill the Boer chant. Julius Malema should go to jail. I agree, it is hate speech. I agree, it's hate speech. I don't care what the Constitutional Court has to say, it's hate speech. Complete and utter hate speech. What if AfriForum and Solidarity had to chant this chant but towards black people? What would you then say? Oh, South African Human Rights Commission would have been filed, and the South African Constitutional Courts would be, and there would have been uproar. EFF would have been burning companies and ANC marches, destroying, looting everything, because if it was a white man saying that, oh, hell breaks loose. But just because it's a black man stating it, just because they sang it during apartheid, does not mean it is right. And it's the exact same thing. If a white or any other group says the K word, it is not right. So it is this song also not right. This chant, killing the farmer, killing the Boer, is not right. And I agree on that matter. And so South Africa, we're on a brink of being vulnerable. Iran is about to fall. And I thank God that the Iranian people are going to have their nation back. Russia and China is quiet, doing absolutely nothing. And everybody was boasting about BRICS. BRICS is tumbling down because they did not build it the proper way. They built it with Chinese products, and now it's coming down. South Africa, let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. Have a fantastic day. God bless.